Hello, hello. I hope that everyone is having a terrific Monday. Mondays are tough for me. Mondays are no, wait, today's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. So it's been a long week already. Okay. It's been a long week already. I appreciate you guys jumping on here with me for just a few minutes. I just wanted to remind everybody that today is the first day of the rest of your life and it is exciting. So get started, do the best you can with every minute that you have today. And for goodness sake, be productive. Unlike I was yesterday, that I didn't even know it was Tuesday. We have got, is this Maryland or New York in the house? I don't know. Okay. Second Monday. Isn't that the truth? Oh my goodness. Yesterday was quite eventful. So just wanted you guys to know that I'm thinking about you. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you. I hear so many great reports. You guys are really sending me a lot of feedback about how Velocity Banking is changing your life. That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. Before I forget, we're having the webinar tonight, the Money Max webinar. You are welcome to join us there. I hope you do. It's absolutely free and it's for information. So, guys, get educated on these options because if you get educated, and you know what you need to be doing in your financial life, you're going to be moving towards goals that you know are achievable because you've already got it laid out. You've already got your strategy going. It's moving. Now you're just working, focusing on family, focusing on, building your business, and stop this insanity with waiting. Don't you hate waiting? I've wasted so much of my time, my life waiting for people to get their act together, waiting for the better job, waiting for, the kids to get grown so that I would have some time. I mean, do we really wait on our kids to grow up so that we can get rid of them? I don't think so. The point is that you have to be focused on today, doing your best today, and then setting up that strategy so that you're not focused on your debt anymore. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the basics. I want to go back to the basics here for just a minute because I have people asking me, what is velocity banking? So when I realized that I've put out over 900 videos, and you should know what velocity banking is if you're watching the videos at all. I still understand that this is a new concept to a lot of people. It's a new concept. So, what is the velocity banking strategy? What is that? Is it it's a concept that is not what we're taught here in the States. It's not what we're taught all over the world, from what I'm learning. The concept is foreign. That's why if you notice on some of my sites, I'll say a foreign concept to American finance. That's because it is foreign to us, right? I want to answer a question right quick. I just saw about the Texas conference. That has been postponed. We are waiting on it, okay? Yeah, I know. I had some scheduling conflicts there. So we are waiting on getting new dates on that. So we're not going to be selling any kind of tickets to do with the conference yet. I'm going to wait. I want to get that concrete before we talk about that any further. I still want to do it, but I just cannot schedule that right now. Now, I am planning on making a road trip west. So if you have any church conferences that you're going to hold and you would like for me to drop in, we can certainly talk about that. If you have any conferences that you're doing, with finances. If your work is getting together some kind of event that you're going to have an employee event and you would like for me to speak at that, feel free to ask, because if I can fit it into my schedule, I will try to work in these stops while I am going west, and I'm going to be out there for 2 to 3 weeks. So feel free to ask, and we'll see what I can work out when it comes to stopping in at your conference. I know, right? I mean, I got to thinking, why am I setting up one where you all come to? If I'm going to be out west, then, if I'm going by your area, it would tickle me pink. That is a Tennessee term, so I just want you to know, tickle me pink is a real phrase out here. So that would tickle me pink to be able to stop in at your event, okay? Excited to do that. So let me know if you have any questions about that. What was I talking about? Oh, we're talking about literally going back to the basics here for a second on velocity banking. The concept, as beautiful as it is, yes, you can just jump in if you have the tools. So the whole concept of velocity banking is, in my mind, learning how to use the bank. If you don't know how to use the bank, you're going to get into the wrong tools. You're going to get into the tools that they have told us to use. I said that out loud. We are, the commercials, look at the commercials, talking about the mortgage. Oh, you can get this low rate of 7% on a mortgage. Okay. Well, that's pretty pricey, but all right. You have to know which tools to use. So when you know the difference between the interest, how it works, is it compounding interest? That's great if it's our money that's compounding. But if it's the interest we're paying compounding, then guess what? You're going to waste a lot of money. What is a simple interest? What's the difference between a loan and a line? What's an amortization schedule? Do you understand these things? If you do, then you're not going to get taken advantage of when it comes to using the bank. Do you know about those tools? Do you know how they work? Do you know the definitions, the terms, what I just spoke on? If you don't, then guess what? You're probably throwing away money and you are not even aware. You've got to get aware, people. I mean, it's your responsibility to get educated, okay? That's what the Money Max webinar is about tonight. It is about getting you educated on what the Money Max is and what it's going to do for your numbers, okay? So you can't sit back and say, well, I think that's a scam. Well, I think you're ignorant, because if you were learning what these tools do, then you wouldn't be calling this stuff a scam, because you're going to know it's your game changer for your finances, okay? So I don't like naysayers, because I feel like that if you have something negative to say about anything or anybody, it's because you have a problem on the inside of you. There's something that you're ignorant about with yourself. And once we get educated, then we can see everything in a light that says, oh, okay, that's what that is. Or, oh, okay, that's really, really good, but that's not for me, right? So you can make choices when you're educated. That's what this channel is about, is getting you educated. Okay. So let's see here. What tools do I have if I have equity but cannot get a HELOC? The Money Max, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. That's a free webinar with information. And, Money Max has very good, Carlos. It's a very smart of you. So, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm seeing these. The Money Max is available in the pill method outside of the United States. Okay, so I hope that you got that information. So it's info@thepillmethod.com if you are outside of the US. Okay. But where was I? Where was I going? Oh, the Money Max is the creator. God bless him for what he has done because he has created the fast debt elimination system that I have ever heard of. Okay. I love lines of credit and I know how to use lines of credit, but I also have the Money Max because it is the only thing that if I were to be strapped and have to take a loan out for something, whether that be a rental property or a, a car or whatever, Money Max is going to come in and eliminate that interest down to less than 2% in most situations. So, guess what? I'm not throwing away a bunch of money. I'm not. And that's what the Money Max does. So, come tonight if you've not heard of it or if you want to know more. It's free and it's going to talk to you about what the system does. And if you want your own free analysis, which is what the creator offers, why? Why does he offer this free? Well, once you're educated in one, if you like it, two, if it's going to work for you, then three, you're going to know when you're getting out of debt because it's a guaranteed product. So you're going to know if it's going to be worth your time or not. Okay. So if you don't show up, then you don't know, and then you can't complain, right? Okay. So back to what we were talking about with the basics of velocity banking. What does that look like? If you know how to use the tools at the bank, then I think 99% of the time, you're going to know where all of your income is going when it comes to paying off your debt. Okay. If you don't understand how the tools at the bank work, then you're not going to know how to eliminate your debt as fast as possible outside of Money Max. And kudos to John Washington, who created the Money Max. I just don't even know where minds like that come from, but I'm thankful that they come because we need the information. When it comes to this velocity banking concept, you have to know that the line of credit is completely different from the loan. If you know that you are in a loan, then you look at a line and you say, okay, how can that be used to eliminate my debt quickly? Or can it be used? So, for example, if you have a car loan, okay, and you're sitting at right now, which is 8% for a car loan, all right, and let's say that you have golly, some of you guys have $1,500 payments on these cars, but I'm going to take it back to the 80s and act like you have a $25,000 loan on a car, all right. And then you have a payment of, let's say, $500 per month. So what is it? 72 months? Let's just do some math here. Yeah. So 72 months in this $25,000 loan to pay it off. So you're making $500 payments for 72 months. Think about that for a minute. 72 months is 6 years. Crazy, right? Well, you know that if you divided 25,000 by 500, that's only 50 months. So if 25,000 divided by 500 is 50 months, then why is it a 72-month payoff? Why? Because you have what? Let's see, 22 months 22 months of interest at $500 a month, right? That seems like, wait a minute, what? But that's kind of the way you do the basic math to figure out how much interest am I actually paying on this car, okay? So if I got a $25,000 car and I'm paying an extra $500 a month for 22 months, That's $11,000 in interest. Is that right? Let's try this again. 25,000 divided by 500 is 50 months, but this is a 72-month payoff. So that means 22 months I'm making $500 payments. So if I'm making 500 times 22, $11,000 in interest. Okay, so how are we going to avoid that $11,000 in interest? Is that even possible to avoid $11,000 in interest? I mean, we all have car loans, right? I mean, I've had them. I've probably had, oh my gosh, through my first marriage, probably 20 new cars that we just literally tumbled into the next loan and ended up having gosh awful payments and don't even want to know the money that we throw away in those days. But today's a new day and we're here and we live to tell about it. And now we live to tell you how not to make our mistakes. Okay, so the point is, had we been using a line of credit and had we some sense about how much money we were spending, we might have done differently. I don't know. It depends on your person. Do you want to do better? Do you want to handle your money better? I mean, it is your decision, right? And you're here for a reason, so you must be here to learn something. So let's learn something. Okay, so if we want to save $11,000 in interest only, how do we do that? Well, you could do it one of two ways. If you're already in the loan and you're trying to figure out how to get out of the loan, then you need to look at a line of credit. Why? Why do we look at a line of credit instead of a loan? Well, when you walk into the bank and they advertise this loan at 7%, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is really cheaper than that line of credit. It's at 12%." And you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I want the lower interest rate, so I'm going to get the 7% on the car or 5% or whatever." But when you're looking at a 12% line of credit, what does that mean? Well, let's run the numbers and do the math. And then if I'm wrong, then you can say, "I knew that, Christy Vann. I knew she was a scammer." Scammer. Yeah. That's what you can say when you run the numbers. But until you run some numbers, don't be hollering names because you're not making much sense. You're kind of making yourself look silly, right? So let's see what 25,000 in a line would be. This is the loan, okay? So I'll put loan, which is a 4-letter word, something that you probably shouldn't really be using, but that's your prerogative. All right, so here's a $25,000 line. And let's go ahead and put it at 12%. Okay, so let's do the math. Let's do 25,000 times 12%. That is $3,000. Okay, so take 12% or 25,000 times 12%, that equals $3,000. Okay, now let's divide this by 12 months because this $3,000 is per year. Okay, so when we divide 3,000 by 12 months, we get $250. Okay. So $250 in interest for month one, okay? 25,000 is going to bring about $250 at a 12% interest rate. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to see, okay, if I can take $500 a month and pay it out for 72 months in an amortization schedule or a loan, how long will I be paying on this 25,000 with a 12% simple interest? Well, every bit of this comes down to your cash flow, right? So if you have paid off the $25,000 loan with a $25,000 line, then that means this $500 has now become cash flow, because when you take your income and revolve it into the line, so let's imagine this is a line of credit and we're revolving it. Okay, revolving line of credit. So that means that if you make $5,000 a month and you put it into the line of credit, you have just satisfied any payment that might be due on this line. So what did that do up here? You transferred it into a line. Now your $500 is gone because you no longer have the loan. Now you have a line, you've put your income in, and it satisfied any payment that was due on this line 99% of the time. Now, your interest is still going to be charged, right? It's going to be charged on your next monthly statement. But when your income's going in, you've satisfied, as long as your income is over the amount of your payment every month. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, when you revolve your income into the line, this $25,000 balance that you have now becomes $20,000. Okay, so your income goes in, your balance is 20,000. Okay, so with your new cash flow of 500, let's just imagine that you already had 2,000 in cash flow. Let's say that you had 1,500 in cash flow, because when your, erase this, when your income goes in, I know what you're saying. Well, how am I going to pay my expenses? I still have to buy food. I still have to pay gas. I still have to make my rent payment or my house payment. I still have to pay for my Netflix. My house has an alarm. I have people that mow my yard. I mean, we all have different expenses. So if you are putting your income into this line, that's what makes this revolving line. Income goes in, expenses come out. Okay? Usually you can pay your expenses out, whether it's just transferring from the line into your checking account so that you can use that money as cash. Okay? So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, please go watch more videos, because that tells me you've not really been, in on what's going on here. But when you pay your expenses back out, and let's say $3,000 is going to come back out in monthly expenses. So out of your 5,000, you paid 3,000 back out in food, gas, utilities, rent, whatever you pay in a month. Okay, and these are just numbers that I'm running for fun. Okay. So 3,000's coming back out, so you're at 23,000. Now your $250 in interest is going to apply. So now your balance is $23,250. Does that look good so far? Okay, so what happens in month 2? Uh-oh, you get paid $5,000 again? Income for month 2? What do you think about that? I know, right? What happened to your balance? All right, so I don't mess up because I don't like math. 23,250 5,000. You're at 18,250. Now, guess what happens? Did this interest stay the same, 250? No, this interest is going to be lower. Why? Because your income is going into this balance, which is making the balance less every month, which means you're going to pay less interest. Thus, the line of credit. You're not sitting on this loan paying whatever interest they have already figured out for you in that loan. Those payments are divided up for a reason. Do you really think this $500 was ever meant to get you out of that car loan fast? No, there's interest that's already calculated in this payment. When you're using the line of credit, they are calculating it on the month. What was your average daily balance for that month? Well, let's see. So your low balance is 18,250. And your high balance is 23,250. Oh my gosh, if I could use my calculator. So 18,250 plus 23,250 divided by 2 for your average, which is 20,750 for the average daily balance. Okay. Now let's take that times 12% divided by 12. 207.50. So let me make some room here. So 207.50 is your interest for month 2. Then your balance, the 18,250. I'm getting sloppy here. Everybody just hold on. 207.50 plus 18,250. That's 18,457.50. Okay, this is after your interest applies for month 2, but now we have to pay your expenses. So I'm going a little backwards here, but it's all working. So we add in $3,000 for our monthly expenses. We have to pay our bills. 21,457. Now we've applied our interest already. So what happens in month 3? Income goes in again. So income for month 3 goes into this line, 21,457, 5,000, 16,457. What's happening here? Wait a minute. You had a $25,000 balance 3 months ago. And now you're at a payoff of 16,457. Okay, so how long is it going to take us? How long is it going to take us to pay off 25,000 compared to the 72 months on 25,000 in the loan? How long is it going to take us to pay it off? Well, the way I look at that is, one, I'm going to average my interest, which here on the first month it was 250. On the second month it was 207. So 250, and let's divide that by 2. So you're going to have an average interest from beginning to end of about $125. You have an income of 5,000. So minus off the 125 for your average interest, and then the 3,000 for expenses. So that means you have a cash flow of about $1,875 now. So when you take that into consideration and you have a $25,000 loan, so 20 or line, we went from the loan into the line. So 25,000 divided by 1875. That means you will have this not in 72 months. No, that's junk. Not in 50 months. That's junk. You're going to pay this off in about 13 and a half months, not years, months. You cut almost 70 months off of a loan just learning how to use a line. For goodness sake, wake up, get educated, and learn what those tools at the bank are doing to your finances. You can turn 72 months into less than 15 months. That's just right over a year that you've paid for a $25,000 car. What happens as you're paying this down? You're in your third month, 16,457. You're going to pay your expenses back out. You've already got a little over $2,000, right? Wait, hold on. Am I right? No, you've got a little over $5,000 available in this one line of credit again, that now if you have another debt, you can take 4 or 5,000 from this line, throw it into another debt, and maybe it's going to pay off a $4 or $5,000 credit card that you've got a payment of $300 or $400 in. What happens when you put that $3 or $4 or $5,000 balance into this line? The payment that you're making on that loan or that other credit card, you're pulling it into the line, and now your credit card payment or your other loan payment has become cash flow. Guess what? You're going to work this stuff down in no time. Like this. That's why Velocity Banking is your game changer. Is because you're learning how to use the tools at the bank. And it just takes you some time to get educated. But once you know that this 12% interest just annihilated this loan at 72 months. This $11,000 interest, it all went away because you learned how to use a 12% line of credit. It's something to think about. If you're serious about getting out of debt, for goodness sake, get out of it. If you're sitting spinning your wheels in interest, it's your fault now because you have seen what your other option is. And if I had a 9%, can you imagine how fast this would have gone? We only spent 13 and a half months in this. It's about what you have been taught to use. And whether you're using a HELOC, a personal line of credit, or even a credit card in some instances, you can do this to any loan you have. You just have to have a strategy set in place and get ready and run with it. For goodness sake, people, get in peace. That's what we need to do. We need to get our mind off of the debt, what's going on with our money, and put it on our children, put it on our spouses, put it on our work, something of value besides wasting your time trying to figure out life in debt. Don't do that to yourself. I did that for decades. I'm done with that, and I want you to be done with that. I want you in peace, okay? Now, can you pay bills directly out of the HELOC? You can transfer any line into a checking account and use it like you want to use it. Now, my HELOC is linked to my checking account, so that means that I can pay my expenses through my checking account, and it automatically pulls from my HELOC just as an overdraft would do. I do have to transfer monies into the HELOC. So if I get paid today, guess what? I'm going to transfer it into the HELOC if there's a balance, okay? So it's revolving. When you take your mind off of the loan that you just are making payments to and you cannot pull back out of, you're going to see how the line of credit gives you the cushion you need not only to pay off debt, but any of those unexpected events that Dave Ramsey scares us to death about, that you have to have 3, 6, 9 months of income stored up in a savings account sitting in the bank, accessible for you when that major event happens. You have the line, so you don't need all of the cash sitting somewhere. Now you can start investing. Now you can start your infinite banking policies. Now, Money Max beats a line of credit by 2 years. I don't know how. It's crazy great. So, if you have not checked out the Money Max and you cannot get a line of credit, or like a lady I worked with earlier, she has a business and she couldn't qualify for the HELOC or the line of credit because she can't verify the income yet on the business. All right. We like to not pay taxes. So if you do the write-offs and it brings your business income so low that you're not able to qualify for any kind of line of credit, then the Money Max is a game changer like nothing else. Okay. So feel free to check that out. I am actually going to put that, if I can find it, I'm going to put the link to join us tonight in there, which you could join me however through my email, but I'm going to put in the link so you can join us. But guys, check it out and see if you can't find a way to end all of your stress about your finances. Okay. I'm also offering the 4-week class. I have decided that it is going to start on April the 2nd. Do I have that? If I have that, I'll share that link with you as well. Do I have that? I don't know that I have that link here. Yeah, I do. Okay. So let me put that link in here in the event that you're interested in that as well. And I tell you what, I'm going to have to jump off of here because I have another appointment. But I'm excited about the master class because we're going to have a lot going on in there. It's 2 classes per week. I don't know if that's the right thing I just put in there or not. Let me make sure. Nope, that's not it. So let me move that out. Okay. Let me put in the new one. If you guys have any questions, though, that you are stumped on, just watch the videos, okay? Because the videos are going to tell you everything that you need to know. That's what they're there for. They're there so that you're able to get an idea of what option it is that's going to work for you best. So it's really important that you study a little bit, that you study the videos so that you know the strategy is going to work for you, whichever one that is that you choose. Okay. I'm telling you, velocity banking changed my life. Not just financially, but it changed every way that I do everything when it comes to my income. And that has made such a difference for me. I'm telling you, I just want you guys to realize that there is a way for you to get out of debt. You do not have to be sitting there in the stress you are right now. You don't. And I hope you don't set another day. I hope that you get serious, that you get to moving, and that you're excited because it is super exciting. And I'm excited to hear the reports. The feedback I get is crazy great. And it just makes me so excited that I'm able to do this each and every day. I've really, really just had so much joy and fulfillment from actually working with you guys one-on-one. And I'm excited to share. So the information's free. The Money Max tonight is free. Feel free to join us. I am from Tennessee and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Ah, Ethiopia's in the house. Nice. the link for the upcoming class. No, I didn't. I'm going to post it underneath this video. So check it out. I'm going to have to get my little IT guy to look it up for me. I'm not really good with the computer stuff. You know this. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hate to run away, but I've got a million and one things I got to take care of today. So I hope that, you know, you get some freedom. That's what it's about. And I just